Good morning, good evening, good night, whatever it is that you may be watching us from all across the world. My name is Richard Zhao and I will be your digital host. If you want, you can call me A Star. So I'm your digital host and it is my job to give you access to opportunities, insights and sights as we embark on this amazing journey. The name of the show is All Access, proudly brought to you by Golden Connections International. The time right now is 10:34 a.m. We've just arrived, or the ship is docking into Tallinn. This is our cabin. We slept here. We got a shared cabin. Aizo was here. I was on this other side. However, there are individual cabins. There are cabins with twin beds in case you've got kids. There's different kinds of cabins. There are VIP cabins. Oh, I felt a little bit of the ship's stopping. Anyway, so this is the beginning of day 2. Yesterday we were in Sweden, Stockholm. So we left Stockholm around 5-6 p.m. We jumped onto this ship. It's actually a ship, 10 decks, 10 different floors, or as Aizo likes calling it, a moving two rivers. We had dinner, came, did some work here. Guys went to watch a show. I mean, there's so many different things to do on this ship. We did some work, slept, woke up, had a shower, went for breakfast. Now we're about to kick off day 2. So that whole, from Sweden, I think there's a 1 hour difference. So from 6 p.m. to about 10:30. Right now is when we arrive in the capital city of Estonia. It's called Tallinn, and we kick off day 2 of the study tour. So excited to keep you posted on all that we're doing, to give you access to opportunities, to insights, to the sites, and definitely to everything that we're doing. Welcome to day 2. Day 2, we are officially in Tallinn, Estonia. Excited to kick off day 2. What's the time? The time right now is 11:07. We're officially in Tallinn, Estonia. We're going to the hotel. We're going to check in. And after we check in, we are then going to continue day 2 of the educational study tour. Meaning, again, we're going to split into 3 different groups and go to different schools depending on what people want to learn. Remember, we've got with us school owners, we've got directors, we've got CEOs, we've got teachers with us, we've got MPs who sit in the committee that deals with education. So we've got a whole bunch of people, and depending on what they want, they are going to get. Hii basi inataka kunigonga. Excited to continue. Twende. Hebu kuja salimia wase.
What's up, guys? Education is here.
Salimia watu.
What's up, guys? We are here.
Again.
My name is Mary Alubai. Just like that, we've landed in Estonia. This is called Tallinn. And we just docked from Baltic.
From Sweden, Stockholm.
No, the name of
the
our
Baltic
cruise ship.
Oh, hey.
Hey, our cruise ship had a name.
Okay,
so we are very excited to be here. Estonia, here is Kenya.
So the ones who graduated basically the best, they get the gold medal. So these are the names who maybe got the gold medals these specific years, and these are the ones who got the silver medals. Et kool ise on siis 60.
Kool ise on 65-aastane.
The school is 65 years old.
Ja mina töötan siin koolis aastast 1980.
And she has been working here since the year 1980. So 45 years. She's been working here for 45 years.
Yeah. This is my only one school. Yeah, and very many my students.
Yeah. And their children.
This is the beginning of my working time. And,
Yeah. So this is the sort of like the formal entrance area of the school. Yeah. So established in 1960.
meie kool on siis nii-öelda ettevõtliku maailmakodaniku kool, see on meie kooli motto.
So the motto of the school is, it is the school of an entrepreneurial citizen of the world.
See tähendab siis seda, et me õpetaks või sooviksime, et meie õpilased oleks ettevõtlikud.
So the aim is that they wish their students to be entrepreneurial.
Selleks me anname neile ühe tööriista,
So for that they give them a specific tool,
milleks on saksa keel.
and that is the German language.
Ja nad saavad nagunii veel ka inglise keele siit koolist.
And so on top of that, of course, there is English.
Ja kuna saksa keel on Euroopas teine suur keel,
And because the German language is the second largest language in Europe,
ja kuna Eesti ajalugu on kõik nagu saksa keelest tulenev, et meie vanad ürikud on ka kõik saksakeelsed,
because Estonia has its long historic connections to German language. Our old historic records are in German language.
siis me oleme valmis liikuma maailma, saama maailmast aru, õppima seal, saama kogemusi, tulema tagasi Eestisse kõige selle pagasiga muidugi.
So hence the alumni of this school are now ready to go into the world, be part of the world, and then come back richer into it, back into Estonia.
Nii, aga lähme siis siit edasi. Siin on siis meie kõik Eesti president.
Yes, so this is the list of Estonian presidents.
So who's the latest?
She came to Kenya.
Yeah, 2021. But Kersti Kaljulaid käis Keenias ka. And that's the first president in... Because we know them. We don't need to say the names, we know who they are.
Väga palju võõraid ja meil on eksam.
So there are exams ongoing right now. So
Siis Goethe instituut teeb oma saksa keele eksam.
So their German examination is part of the Goethe Institute.
Siin iga Eesti kool soovib presenteerida oma tunnustusi. Siin on üks.
So these are some of the recognitions that the school has received.
Nii, siin me siis presenteerime oma koostööpartnereid, kellele me oleme tänulikud oma kooli arengu eest.
And so here they present all their various partners who have made the school to be what it is.
Ja see Goethe instituut teeb praegu siis oma eksam.
Yeah. So that's the...
Siis praegu direktor on meil siis saksa keele õppetooli juhiga Saksamaal uusi suhteid loomas.
Yeah, and so the head of school is right now actually in Germany and establishing new contacts there for the school.
Ja nüüd me läheme sinna Riesenkampi auditooriumi poole.
Okay.
Siis ma räägin seal edasi, aga Riesenkamp.
Yes, and so now we are proceeding. Okay, so Riesenkampf Fund, which is one of the supporters, was part of the Germans who lived in Estonia, and so they basically have grown into a fund from the basis here in Estonia, and so we're going to the auditorium. Yeah.
the university partners?
These are their various partners. It's not only universities. Yeah, so it's a combination of partners.
nii, ja siin on siis see meie nii-öelda Silling Riisenko auditoorium ja siin on need kaks härrasmeest, kes on siis selle Riesenkampi fondi loojad, isa ja poeg.
So they are the founders of the Riesenkamp Fund, the father and the son.
Balti sakslased ja toetavad meie kooli saksakeelset majandusõpet ja digitoote disaini õppesuundi gümnaasium.
And so they support specifically this school in their economics, German economic studies, and development of digital tools for the school.
Ja kui me siit edasi läheme, siis Silling, see proua aastast 1962 tõi siis meie kooli selle saksa keele süvendatud õppe.
And so her name is Emerendiana Silling. So she is the one who in 1962 established the German language specialty in this school.
Ja siin taga on siis üks suur auditoorium, aga me sinna ei pääse, sest seal on see saksa keele eksam.
Okay, and so there's an auditorium behind us here, but because there is exam ongoing, so we can't enter there right now. Yes. So it's named after her and the Riesenkamp, who are the fund that are supporting the school. Hästi. Mis klasse siin on, mida siin õpetatakse?
Gümnaasiumi ajalugu, ühiskonnaõpetus,
So this is the classroom where they are teaching social sciences, ühiskonnaõpet, ajalugu, history, mida veel?
õigus,
Yeah.
selles mõttes introduction to law.
Yeah, legal practices and laws and so on. So it's
Selle klassiruumiga on niisugune lugu tegelikult, et see on algselt loodud pikapäevarühmaks, väikeste laste pikapäevarühmaks.
so initially this classroom was created to provide an extended care for smaller children whose parents are not able to attend to them at home, and so they would, kui kaua nad jäävad pikapäevarühma, siis sellel ajal nad jäid.
Siis nad, kuskil 4.
Okay, yeah, so by 4 o'clock they would leave, but they would have, this would be the room where they wait for that.
Aga üks aasta pärast seda renoveerimist, see oli siis võib-olla aasta 2015, me saime teise koolina.
And so from 2015, they actually now got another building. So they actually have 2 buildings.
Ja siis need väiksed lapsed läksid teise majja ja see ruum jäi tühjaks.
And so at that point, the smaller children moved to the other building, and this room was now vacant.
Ja härra Kõrbe võttis selle omale klassiruumiks.
And so teacher Kõrbe had decided that this is the classroom where he wants to teach.
Sellel ajal tuli siis niisugune uus suund, kooliharidus, kuidas see nüüd oli siis?
Like the changing teaching paradigm now or something like
Yeah,
that.
so 2015, yeah, so 2015, there were some new approaches to teaching. So group working, free being bags, all that. You can study anywhere. And so this room really fitted well those new trends that were seen in education and pedagogy from the 2015 onwards.
Nii, ja nüüd leidke palun omale sobivad mõnusad istekohad, sest härra
Yeah, so now get yourself comfortable wherever it feels comfortable for you, and he will pick us up from here.
So yes, it's lovely to greet you all here. It has been a crazy day because I just had students from the biggest island in Estonia, from Saaremaa, because mostly as an online teacher, I also teach there some selective courses about law, international law and international humanitarian law. And now today they had this school trip to Tallinn, so we met Vice Chancellor from the Defense Ministry and the professor for international law in the University of Tartu. So they have their lectures here, and we had some group work as well, and now they're continuing their day with the art museums here in Kadrioru. So we're very lucky as a school as well that we are located in the downtown of Tallinn. That means we can use the whole city as our learning environment, especially for me as a history teacher. It's when we're talking about medieval towns, I can take the whole group and just take 2 bus stops and we are in the old town of Tallinn, and we can really touch the old medieval walls and talk about and feel the atmosphere there. Or when we're talking about the Baroque and 18th century, we'll just have a nice walk to the park, and there's the summer residence of the Russian Tsars. There's the lovely art museum for foreign art. We also use the facilities of the palace for our school venues. For example, when our 11th graders will get the school ring, so a silver ring with the school emblem and their name written on the ring. So the festive event of getting a school ring is held there in the big fancy Baroque hall of the castle. And we have a very good cooperation with the different organizations here as well. The University of Tallinn, that's only 10 minutes walk. Then the art museums. So we're happy that we are located here. Sometimes it's a burden because the possibilities are, we have a lot of possibilities, and then sometimes the teacher, sometimes the students do some critics that let's have just a normal lesson, don't go anywhere, and just let's stay inside and do something like usual, like the school, like a very typical school. My name is Mihkel. I'm head of the high school part here in this school for now 11 years. Teacher, I have been a teacher here for 12 years. Before that, I was a student here in this school, so I was, at some point, I was 5 years away at the university. And for example, Sirja has been my geography and biology teacher. So, so it's so and it's nice to be back in your own school and do something for your own school yeah, I'm full of school history, of course, because of that, but I guess you know the Estonian education system.
We will know that on Thursday. So
Okay.
right now we've just, I mean, literally just off the ship.
Okay, so in Estonia we start around 7 years with the basic school, and then the basic education at the moment is still grades 1 to 9. That's the mandatory. It will change. At the moment, the next 9th graders who will start in September, so our 8th graders, for them, the mandatory school age will be 18. It's now 17, so if you become 17 at the moment, you can leave school, because it's not mandatory anymore. We have some students, of course, there are very few who also, when they have their 17th birthday, they haven't finished their basic education, they leave. But these are only like very few examples. Why this is changing at the moment is that we have a very huge amount of NEET youngsters, so those kind of 15 to 27-year-olds who don't attend education, work, or training. So in Tallinn and around Tallinn, in this region, we have 2,300 those kids or those youngsters. We have smaller towns in Estonia than that by population. So that's why now we're increasing the mandatory school age to 18, and you have to have at least high school graduation or vocational school education. At the moment, it's the basic school education that's mandatory. So we're trying to get or like pump up the educational level of those young people. If it goes well, I don't know, because we still have some students who just stay. They just come to school. They don't want to learn, but they have to come, and that's why they just attend the school. And in our school, we have the basic education, so grades 1 to 9, as well as the upper secondary school, all in one school. That's not very typical anymore, because in 2010, I think it was the year when they started this big school reform in Estonia. That meant that the basic education, so grades 1 to 9, is the responsibility of municipalities, so cities and communities, and the state takes over the responsibility for upper secondary education. So that's why they started to create and build new state high schools. So the owner is not the city of Tallinn, for example, but the Ministry of Education. A lot of European Union money was spent to build very high-tech, very lovely new schoolhouses all over Estonia. Also, the one in Saaremaa, whose pupils were here in this classroom just 15 minutes ago, was built like that and was graded like that. So they have only upper secondary education, so grades 10 to 12. And so they can offer multiple choices, different courses, do more this kind of very specific and focused cooperation with high schools, with the different organizations. We as a so-called tube school, so you can start in the first grade and you can come out in the 12th grade. We have to, when we organize something, we have to think, okay, what are the basic school kids doing at that moment? Are they in lesson or what's happening? So it's not that convenient when you have all the levels together in one school, but still, for me especially, that they understand that they are the young ones, that they, for example, I'm the class facilitator of 12th graders. They understand that they are the older ones, that they are the ones who give examples how to behave, how to learn, and then the young ones hopefully learn from them that. And of course, especially on the 1st of September when the school year starts, it's a very nice tradition that the 12th graders will take the first graders and then they go to the 1st September assembly together, and so the 12th graders are their big friends, the first big friends in the new school. And I think that those kind of events and things of building the bridges between different age levels is very important as well. in the state high school, when you teach there, it's a bit dull. So you only have kids who are late teenagers. They don't disturb the lessons and they don't shout that much. And there's no, for me, there is no life in these schools. It's kind of typical bustling life that belongs to a school. So basically, we are here in our school. We deal with these two levels, so the basic education and the upper secondary school. From our school, because it's a downtown school, and yes, there are differences between the high schools, are there in the countryside or here in the capital. Most of our kids go to the university, or some of them also with a very specific knowledge to vocational schools, but mostly to universities to become, to get the first bachelor degree. Because we are specialized on teaching German as the first foreign language. Some of them, like 10%, practically every year, go to German universities or to Austrian universities because they get the international German exam, so the diploma on the level, like on the language level of C1. So C2 is when you're mother tongue speaker, and C1 is when you have very good language skill, and so they don't need to do any extra language exam when they are applying to German universities because they already have the certificate of the language level. Any questions maybe? As a teacher, I can talk hours when I start the play button.
Okay, so I have a question. What's the ratio of students from your school that proceed to university versus those that don't?
I would say that 95% go to the university. The boys have to do their army service, but that they already apply before that to the university, so they are in the university. I think there are like 1-2 students who I will take the time off now, and I have to think what to do. More than 90% will go automatically to universities. Some of them who really have a very specific idea of what they want to do, and it's taught in the vocational schools, also go there, but again, very few of them from our school. Mostly they are very focused on university studies. Yeah, that I already talked. Maybe about the school. The building was built in 1960 when the school was established here. Then it was the very sort of far end of the town, because after that it has spread. So and practically from the beginning, 2 years after the establishment of the school, the very active teachers here in this school thought that we need something special, and that something special, our own thing, was then the German language. Because Estonia, this was still the time when a lot of German teachers had the education from the pre-war time. So when German was a very important language here, we had the German minority here, and they had, they were the old school teachers and had a very good language skills. And why German was prohibited in the Soviet times was that part of Germany, the Eastern Germany, was under the communist rule, and of course, for context with the Eastern German part, they needed translators and people who could speak German well, also for spies, actually. So that's why it was allowed, although Germany was the big bad enemy during the Second World War and all that. But the ideology back then was, okay, now they are our friends, at least the eastern part of Germany that was communist. Of course, nowadays a lot of people who are working in German firms, in the embassy, or has something to do with the German language and culture comes from this school, or from the other German school in Tallinn. But mostly as ambassadors and businessmen who are dealing with Germany because they have the language skill. And as Sirja said, yes, 2016 was the time when the municipality of Tallinn closed the school nearby. So and now we have our elementary classes there, so 1 to 6. And we had to take also the 200 pupils from that schools to our school. It was a very interesting time to join two very different school cultures, because the school that was closed was very unpopular among parents, especially. The schoolhouse was built for 700 kids, and at the end there were only 200 of them studying there, and we were lacking space because our school was popular, and now when we had two schoolhouses, we had two problems. Joining the two school cultures that came with the 200 pupils, and of course that to combine now two buildings, people and pupils, to become one school family. We're still struggling with that, because still 1 kilometer, one bus stop is still too far away to have a very good model of that, and my personal view is that every year we're a bit drifting more and more apart. Although at 10 years ago, when we were, I think it was the euphoria of getting two buildings, having normal working conditions, and then we were more energized and focused on achieving this 1 + 1 = 1, as we called that. So 2 houses, 1 school.
What is your student population right now?
1,100 about. It changes practically, especially here at the end of the school year, where already the students are a bit moving because of some of the parents are moving abroad or some other places. So it's very hard to keep track on the specific amount of students that we have at the moment, but around 1,100. Yes, in the 2 buildings. That's why it's very, of course, at the end of the school years, we have a lot of school trips, and for example, because of the civil defense course, our 10th graders now are going shooting today, or went shooting today, so it's part of their training, and that's why the schoolhouse is very quiet.
Explain about the defense course, please.
So the civic defense course is it's the 2nd year when it's mandatory in Estonia because of the geopolitical situation with the Ukrainian war. So it was a very good lobby of the defense ministry to change the state curricula in that way that the course is now mandatory for all the high school kids. So it consists of 2 courses. One course is more theoretical, war history and all the theory of how to fight the war, and then the second course is that they go to a boot camp and they stay for 3 days in a military camp, and they have to sleep in the woods and do all the military stuff there and compete with each other in I think the schools and the teams are a bit there's a small competition, how good they are in different skills. And before they go to the forest camp this weekend, then they went today shooting in a shooting range.
Is that the same as the mandatory
Military service.
that they have to do military service?
That's different. Yes. So my boys who are at the moment outside, they will have to go after graduating high school this summer. They will go to and have this 11 months military service. But we have a subject called military war defense course or something like that in English, that they have to attend, all the high school students, before they go to the military service. It's like to popularize it, make it clear what it is already before they have to go and have the first days in the army.
Both boys and girls.
Both boys and girls. Yes.
So during high school, it's both boys and girls, but the 11 months is mandatory for boys and optional for girls.
Yes.
NYS.
It's very far from NYS. Let's just be
Yeah.
very far.
But it's. But maybe
In
because
the
of
old
the.
NYS, were you actually shooting ammunitions?
Yes.
They used to shoot with, what do you call those things? The spades.
Okay.
Spades is,
But yeah,
But no. Here it's actual artillery.
Yeah.
so that's like a heavy trip.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And because of that, I think that the students already have this subject at school. It's getting more and more popular among girls to go and have the army service. So these numbers are increasing every year. Yes.
So this is only for citizens, or
Yes. Yes.
say my son come to study here?
No, it's for all students, not for the course
During high school.
itself.
During
yes,
high school.
Is, for example, our exchange students from Germany are attending this course because it's part of the curricula and it's mandatory. That the army service is all only for the citizens. Yes. And if you're not an Estonian citizen, it doesn't apply for you. Yes.
Why? I'm wondering why you chose German as the first foreign language.
Because in the 1960s we still had a lot of German teachers from the pre-war time, because back then German, for my grandparents, for example, who were born in the 20s and 30s, it was the first foreign language because of the cultural background, the historical background, because there was the German minority here who left before the beginning of the Second World War, because Hitler called all the Germans back to the fatherland.
Yeah. So in short, we were colonized.
Yeah, in the 13th century by the German Crusaders. But back then there was also the ideological part, because the Soviet Union needed German speakers, so for translators and for connections with Eastern Germany. I think that's the reason why ideologically it was okay to have this kind of focus as a public school.
Just a moment.
Yes.
We change focus a little bit. The question is, for the entrepreneurial skills,
Yes.
is it something that, are there some projects that you expose them when they're still in school? And if there are, what are these projects?
For the entrepreneurial, for example, we have student firms. So for there is this clause that you have to do a research paper or a practical project. It's like a state exam. So and during your practical project, you can also start the student firm. We have a program called Junior Achievement Fund. That's an NGO that supports this kind of entrepreneurial programs in schools. Also the teaching of economics and entrepreneurship in schools. And so you will register, as you register your firm usually, you will register that with the organization. You do the whole business plan, marketing, everything during one school year. Then there is this big fair of the student firms. And practically when I'm supporting the students who have rated the student firm, they are very in charge of everything. So if they don't achieve, if they don't have a good product or something, then they just have to analyze it, what we can do differently or what should have we done differently in their analysis of the student firm. And that's a very good method. And then we have, in our school, we have, for example, community service. So that means they have to do 20 hours outside the school in NGOs or in the third sector, in the citizenship community. They have to do voluntary work as students. If they are helping in old folks' home, in hospitals, and they have to find the place, the organization where they are doing the voluntary work themselves. They have to write themselves the emails. I don't do anything to help them in that. Of course, I show like an example letter and all that, but they have to find it themselves. They have to work and then after that write a report how it went and what they learned about themselves, about how democracy works in this kind of organizations, and have to have this analysis. With the school events, like if you want an event, then organize. As a school management and as teachers, we support, we give, but we say that you're responsible. We are not clowns or entertainers here. We are the teachers. If you want to make your life here in the school more interesting, then please organize, take control of how it should be, how it's good for you as students. Yeah. Yes. So that means being entrepreneurial in our school. Or when you see that something needs to be repaired or done differently, then please come, let's discuss, let's try. And so the student engagement to school life is very important.
What are maybe some of because I know many of the student companies that are established during high school, many of them continue to, what are some of the successful student companies that continue after they have graduated here?
The one that got a very, I think they won that year, the student firm competition, that they had peeping things on their see on discgolfi kettal. So
Eesti keeles öeldes
tal oli see saatja, mis siis tuvastas selle ja hakkas piiksuma, kui see discgolfi ketta asi kuskile võssa lendas, et sa said mobiilist panna, et hakka nüüd piiksuma, et mul kadus see ketas ära ja siis see leiti üles, et see võitis sellel aastal minu meelest ja minu teada nad igast toimetasid mingi aeg edasi, aga see õpilane lõpetas 4-5 aastat tagasi.
Okay, so there is one of them that actually won that year. So there is a sports game called disc golf. And so it's sort of like there are some discs that you're tossing, and very often they land somewhere in the bush and they become difficult to trace. And so on your phone you can set it to beep so that you're able to find your disc somewhere in the bushes. And so you're able to then find your disc. And so that was a product that they developed, and it still continued to exist for several years after they had finished the school here, because it was a valuable product that people were happy to buy.
Then just a quick one, at what stage do you expose them to these projects? At what
entrepreneurial mindset.
So we're waiting for the students. Hopefully they come. Yes, we can go. So here, yes,
we're having lunch at 2.
on the 1st of September 2016, so we went with practically half of the school family to conquer the second building. So we're here, and so we had this big parade to the other one. So these are Hendrik and Mattias, 2 students from my class. They are now graduating to 12th form, so they are graduating high school. Boys, maybe you can tell our guests from Kenya, right?
Yep.
Yes. How the school supports, or how this kind of entrepreneurial way and mindset. Yes. Of course, they are media stars with their activities. Oh yes, they are.
Well, I just wanted to know about the entrepreneurial skills in school. How do you get it, and at what stage do you start it in school? And are there some practical examples that you can talk about? Yes.
So mainly this is just voluntary work that we do here, and it's mainly because we really like it. I personally find it fascinating to, first of all, organize all of those different
different events.
Events,
like,
yeah. For example, with the ring ceremony or with the flag committee we are leading here, and mainly we get this, very good positive
feedback
from the school, and that just keeps us going. And
we learn the skills in the process. Like when we are leading some event or something like that, then we can, like now, like with you guys, we can give some interviews, or then we learn in the process to communicate and to
talk about our experiences.
Yeah.
What's the faculty and what does it do?
Okay, so basically in Estonia there are a lot of memorial days. For example, the day of remembering the
victims of the communist regime, for example,
or deportations, and therefore every year there are some events that take place in Estonia, in Tallinn mainly, and we basically just go there with our school flag, and we just stand there for an hour, and it doesn't actually look so hard physically, but actually if you stand still for an hour, it's very hard, and physically I would say.
In the summertime with 30 degrees,
yeah.
in the wintertime with 20 minus degrees.
Or sometimes even snowing or just raining, because the weather in Estonia is just isn't that great. So, and mainly we actually, the reason why we do this is because we represent our school there. So therefore, like the news agencies can see that our school, Kadrioru Saksa Gümnaasium, is active, and a lot of kids who are entering high school actually want to be part of this community here.
I have a question. The second language that you learn here is German, but you speak in English. When did you speak all three?
Actually, I've started to learn German in high school 3 years ago, and before in my ground school, I started to learn English in 3rd grade, I think. And since a lot of the information online is in English, then we can speak it pretty good. Of course, we haven't spoken in English months, so therefore currently we are a little bit rusty, I think, but hopefully everyone can understand what we're talking about. Okay.
We already had our exams earlier this year, so, and at the moment we don't have lessons because we are graduating. So yeah.
The guys are still at school. They don't have any lessons.
Yeah.
How old are you?
Sorry?
What's your age?
I'm 18.
Yeah, I'm also 18, but in 2 weeks I will be 19. So.
Any technological project that you've done as a school? Is there any?
We personally have not done, but our classmates who are part of the digital class or
Digital product development.
yes.
What about it?
So they're making an application, and basically they are designing a new app, and they have 3 years to do it. And I think they're basically done with this, right?
Mihkel? Yeah, they're finishing it.
Oh, they're finishing it.
Yeah.
But what did you also have any business that you established during your high school time? What was your õpilasfirma?
Oh, we didn't have like business. Yeah. Yeah. We had the opportunity to make like student business stuff, but we chose not to, and we did some other kind of project instead of the business.
We organized the ring ceremony first time, and currently we are both wearing.
Yeah, we
those
have
rings.
school rings,
Yeah.
and yeah, we like invented the
Yes.
ceremony.
You invented the ceremony.
Yeah.
And then the school picked it.
Yeah.
It's a culture.
Because we have in the school we have rings for 40 years. Like different people who have graduated have gotten their rings, but now we did it in a formal way in the Kadrioru castle, which was very nice and cool. And we also, yeah.
Yeah, we organized the ceremony, and now we hope that it's going to be a tradition. In our
Because
school.
this year
Yeah.
actually it also
took place. So
because we did it last
Okay,
year.
perfect. So apart from being just entrepreneur, like what does this solve to the society or to the school? Yeah, ring ceremony. What does it solve, or what specific objective?
oh, it's just to it's like a tradition.
A tradition.
Yeah, and it's for like to make the students' life more interesting, and that they feel like a stronger connection with their school through these ceremonies and traditions.
Can I ask a question also?
Yeah.
And this one goes to the teacher and the school generally. Apart from the entrepreneurial skills, do you teach the students employability skills? So that if they, by any chance they don't make it or don't become entrepreneurs, where you get employed, you have skills that are set you apart. Employability skills.
Being employed. So
Are
I
you
don't want
focused on,
to.
because, so it's kind of like, are you focused on getting employed, or are you focused on creating employment for others?
Or both.
Self-employment.
see on hea küsimus, ma ei tea, kas
I think as a teacher, I'm more focused on the good academic skills and knowledges, as well as the 21st century skills like problem solving and everything that they would need as future employers. But in that way, I think I'm not that focused on specifically like making a good labor force out of them.
Yes.
I think that the very important is the leader skills that we get, because you can't really learn them from anywhere. But if you want to be a leader in some organization, then you have to have those leader skills. So therefore, when we are leading for example, the school council last year, for example, or this year the flag committee, then definitely we get a lot of experience. Okay, so when we are like hiring someone to help us, then mainly it's just because he's a good friend of us, or he or she, but sometimes we also make those presentations about flag committee. If you want to be a part of this, then what you will get from it and what you need to do for it. So therefore, we are just hanging around the school and talking to different classes and just hiring people basically who feel like they want to do something like this.
You gauge the interest first, yeah?
Yeah.
Can I ask, when do you want to go to university? Or do you want to?
Yeah, at the moment I'm focused on getting into the university in Tartu.
Oh, Tartu.
Yes, and Henrik is already in there. So
the social sciences.
Yeah, political mainly. Political
Yes, political science, yeah. So
And what do you want to study?
I would like to study history or the same thing as Henrik, the political studies.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure yet.
It's not my fault.
No, that's good. I mean, I like as much as there's a German element. I wanted to just find out: do they want to also stay in Estonia, or do they want to leave? So what I heard you say is, you want to bring a solution for Estonia to the rest of Europe.
I definitely do. I definitely want to live in Estonia for the entirety of my life, but I really thought about it, and maybe I will make my master's degree in Germany, because we have some kind of language level there, and we can definitely improve it, and maybe in one day even learn something in the university in Germany in full German.
University of Nairobi also has a master's.
Okay.
Go, but come back.
Yeah.
Is our motto.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
So,
Yeah, it's basically like a union that unites the flag committees of different schools around Estonia. Like we have a flag committee here, and our neighbor schools have it, and we decided to establish a union so that we can organize different ceremonies together, and basically we can organize things, and it helps. We can also help each other. Like we have some flag committees in some schools are very like sophisticated and improved, and on the higher level, and some are somewhat lower level, and then we can help each other and improve together.
And the schools who don't have a flag committee yet are also actually interested in having one. So therefore we are also interested in basically just teaching them how to do it, and we just really want to have the union as big as possible, and it just unites all of the patriotic Estonians and youngsters mainly. Okay, so basically we are just walking around when there is a Memorial Day.
or school events.
Or school events, we just carry the flag, and the flag has our school name and the logo on it. So therefore, all of the people.
Different flags of the school.
Yes.
So this is our flag.
Patriotism.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Basically, it's one way of like teaching them.
And you know, it symbolizes the school, and I think, as you realize, here schools don't have uniforms, but they normally then carry that insignia in a form of a cap and the flag of the school. So all schools have their own unique caps.
But we have the possibilities thanks to the school, and mainly thanks to our teacher, because he finds the possibilities for us, for example, to go to radio and to talk about the exams.
And actually, the high school education isn't actually mandatory in Estonia. So a lot of people in class who find out that this isn't something for them, then they just leave.
Wow.
choose.
But how about in younger? Because I mean, you were in primary school, you were in junior secondary, now you're in senior secondary. How did you see discipline being practiced in maybe if you're not in this school, or how do you see discipline being practiced?
So I'm from a smaller village near Tallinn. So I wasn't here in the primary school, but I was in a quite little school, quite small school. So we didn't have so many problems because our classes were quite small, and it was easier for the teacher to keep the discipline.
I have always wanted to learn new things and about everything. When we have like a subject in school, I always find something interesting about it, and therefore I find the motivation to learn it. Of course, there are some subjects that I have had problems. For example, biology or music history was something terrible for me. But I'm here, and I can proudly say that in 3 weeks I will be also graduating with maybe even a great
Silver or gold medal? Which one?
silver medal.
Silver medal. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. It's recording. Am I on? Is this thing on? Hey, this thing is heavy. Yeah. For people who've been going to the gym. So we just finished. An in-depth, about a 1.5-hour session learning about the history of one of the schools that we are in today. We also got to speak to two students and just ask them questions about the learning culture, what they're learning, their future plans, the kind of learning system that's here, the interaction with the school, the teachers, society, and of course, schools always bring out the best students, and granted, these guys were pretty amazing in terms of what they've been able to do at such a young age. Anyway, all in all, it was good for us at least to get to hear from the students. One of the things that shocked me completely is just how going to school at a certain age becomes optional in Estonia, and some kids choose not to continue with high school. I think when they get to the age of, it's 17, but then they've moved it now to 18. You get to choose whether you want to stay in school or not. Very interesting insights, learnings that are happening here. And I'm going to bring some people to also share their insights the same way that I've just shared with you. But from here, where the cafeteria, as you can see right there, this is me in the gym. Yeah, it's going to be interesting, and I'm definitely keeping you posted. For now, this thing is getting heavy. ISO, help. Woo!
perspective.
But there are people who want to say.
Wait. Please pass this around when you're.
When you're talking. Am I pressing anyway?
No, just talk to it.
Just talk.
Okay. I think my biggest takeaway, which I really love, is that it seems like the teacher is very, very empowered to do what they think is best for the learners, that they know best. So there isn't too much control, from my experience, about controlling the teacher from somewhere up there, right?
Only when we have we get some signs that there are problems in the classroom with the teachers, that's the only time when we get involved as school management.
Excellent, I love that.
I love you're very, I don't, the word casual might sound bad, but I love the way the student and the teachers, it's very natural, yes. I love that. And then, of course, the fact that there's no uniform. But we love the way the young men are looking. They're really ready to conquer the world. Thank you so much.
And
That's on my bill here. Okay. She's got it.
now the discipline, I'm still on the discipline. After interacting with the boys, I've seen that they are nurtured from childhood. It is something that they have grown up with. So they're not struggling with discipline issues. And also the learning system in Estonia, it's more of child-centered. So they are so much occupied, there's less time for thinking about indiscipline. So they are mostly occupied. Teachers are just guiding them. Like we've gone to the workshop, those students are so independent. They're doing everything on their own. Yeah. So it's a culture that they've maybe nurtured it from childhood to wherever they are. Yeah, child-centered method. It's really working.
My take home, and even as much as they are not your regular guys, they have come from here. These are your products, so they represent pretty much what you've seen. One of the things that I was able to pick is that there's a lot of order, and even when other students are out, you wouldn't even tell. So it looks like everybody knows what they're supposed to do at the right time. So the role of the teacher is also minimal. But I've seen that the teachers are in their classes preparing for the next lesson, I guess, or for the following day. And so there's that sense of calmness, that sense of order, and really doing things in a very structured way is one of the things that I've been. That is not to say that in Kenya we are not structured. That is not to say that we are not orderly. I'm just saying that it's a little higher. And then the second thing is the space in terms of the infrastructure. The infrastructure is way above because mainly we have we don't have so much even in terms of space. The corridors will not be as wide as this one. In a regular school, we still have most schools that have that, but the specifications and the standards of the infrastructure are well in. I think we can go and try indoor arena as much as our weather allows us to be outdoor throughout. But in terms of, in case you have a space constraint, that is a take home that we can go and have a look at. Yeah, thank you.
Just like it's such a small country that we haven't this kind of big differences of educational standard. Of course, there are like some schools in some regions, mostly in the countryside, lacking of professional teachers and all that kind of problems. But in overall, like the statistics, also the PISA shows that actually it's quite equal the standard in Estonia.
And there you have it. It's a wrap. We've just officially finished our first school tour in Estonia, Tallinn. This is just close to where we're staying. The best school to go to in Estonia is the nearest school to you. So because education is standardized. Pretty interesting. I'm finding it difficult to pronounce the names, but hey, I saw just show them where it is. Kadri School.
Kadrioru Saksa Gümnaasium.
That's the one. Yes. What are your thoughts?
Oh, thank you very much. My thoughts are very clear, and especially when I was coming from Kenya,
I was doubting whether I was going to go back with anything, but as far as I'm concerned right now, it's very rich. I have a lot to go and compare notes in Kenya. One example that I would just say very quickly is that the culture and education here is very, very, very different from home. And everything that is being done here, it comes from the heart. And that's why they're so far ahead of us. As much as, yes, we are trying to have them as a full print, we really need to invest in our culture and define ourselves who we are and what we want. Thank you very much.
Are you trying to say we're not doing it from the heart?
Yes. In Kenya, we are not doing it from the heart. And that's the gap that we have actually. We really need to internalize and know what we want, and we'll make it. Otherwise, we'll just waste a lot of time.
I like what you're saying. It can be a debate that we can go into. One of the good things about education in Estonia, when it's not done from the privatized perspective, it is all funded by the government. And therefore, it makes doing it a lot more easier than if you're relying on parents for the finances. But we'll get into these conversations. In fact, one of the things that I should do is get all the different people who've come to have a round table discussion. I see my good friend here has brought in some good topics. Now, I want to tell you what's up next. It doesn't stop now. We're on a school tour. We've just finished the morning session. Right now, we are going to another school in the central heart of the CBD. It's called Old Town, and there's a reason for that. We'll find out more and we'll be telling you more immediately after this.